Hi, everyone. This is Jim Pagiamtzis from the Pro on the Go. It's another episode interviewing a pro on the go for my community. So this episode is, again, all the episodes are special, but, they have so many great, amazing connections that I made over the years. So all these interviews are very, very important to me. The interview today is from a woman. Her name is Dianne Ojar Ali. And she said to me, well, I'll let you introduce me. So I'm going to put this way. So Dianne is a number of great things she's done. So she's an author, probably a great networker, is in the media world, and she does some other things. But those three things, I think, are the most important things we're going to talk about today. I will definitely going to put her information where you can reach her in her bio after this interview. But those are the three things that I think are the most important things that she's done since I've known her. And we all grow and learn. And she has a media company, and she was just telling me she's branding into some new things, which is great because we're all growing. But at the end of the day, welcome, Dianne, to the Pro on the Go show.
Well, thank you, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. When I started in January, Dianne, I was actually nervous to do this because I had some success with.
You nervous about
talking? I was. Because the fact is, see, I didn't put my timer on, ladies and gentlemen. See, this is a live event here. No, because I had done one season with my business partner in the Quantum and Leaping podcast. We've done 35 episodes, and I learned a lot. But here, where you're doing everything from the beginning to the end, Dianne, it's a lot of pressure. And I was busy with work and some other things. But the other day has been quite a journey. I've enjoyed it, and just interviewing again the individuals is the highlight for me. So the thing with Dianne is I've known Dianne for a very long time, and so one of the first things we're going to talk about is the power of networking. Because that's how I met Dianne. Dianne and I had crossed paths through a number of individuals. One of them is called the Entrepreneurial Speed Networking Group with Lawrence Beasley. We actually ran an event up in Newmarket for almost 3 years, once a month for 3 years. We had an eclectic group of individuals probably come out 30 to 40. Yes, you heard me right. 30 to 40 people come out in the morning before a restaurant would open up there and network. And we had all sorts of events. We had health. We had wealth events. We had probably the most doctors, holistic doctors out there. I don't know, Dianne, you want to confirm that?
We had a lot of people. We drove up to Newmarket.
We did. I drove my guests.
Got up early in the morning in the dark.
Yeah, but it was so worth it. It was so worth it.
It was.
And then we had mutual friend Jennifer Beal, who'd run different events. One in February, one in October, and we both had a chance to share the stage with Dianne events. But one of the things I was talking to Dianne earlier was, one of the things I started writing about was networking in an article I wrote for the Trump Library, in the article on networking. But I really want to throw it, Dianne, into your end, because everyone looks at networking a little differently. And I want to get a short synopsis. Maybe you can put this in 4 or 5 minutes for me of what networking is to you. And how do you, when you go out networking, how do you do it? Because everyone does it differently. So it's all yours, Dianne. The power of networking, Dianne style.
Well, thank you so much. And I have to say congratulations to all the accomplishments you've had, Jim. You've done so much. And one of the things about Jim that you don't know is, we've gone our ways on our paths, but we always keep in touch because we all support each other. And this is what networking is all about. So, what do I look for in networking? Well, I'll tell you what I do now compared to, or what I teach now also, compared to what I did nowadays is so different. We're talking about over 10 years ago, pretty much. And we will go to every event, like pretty much every event, we'll drive. And it was a struggle. You and I both know it's a struggle, and it reached to a point, and I'm just going to go fast forward, where we will go, we will meet. We actually went out, and we still go to events because of the event holder who actually put on the event as a courtesy. Like if Jennifer puts on the event, we will go. I was once Jennifer's sponsor and so forth as well.
Yes.
Why? Only because People have the mentality, and I'm being real here, no, and I'm not going to apologize for it, but some people will go, and I've been taught, go and get everybody's business card.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to get everybody's business card. Sometimes I will go, like I said, out of respect, the love and support. Now you have to go with the mindset. I mean, it's 10 years, they've gotten where we need to be, or the friends, and it's not everybody. One of the things I don't like is people will come up to you and say, here's my business card, or one or two, and you've never talked to them, or you see them once in a while, or here's my new business card. Well, if you go into an event, you pretty better make sure you know why you're going to this event, why you're investing in time, money, and energy. We have grown from this. It's not everything we can go to. When you think about it, one of the things I say to my students or clients is the fact that if I give you $100 for the month, and that's for your networking. Now it's a little bit different, but that's for networking. That's your gas. That's your entrance fee. People will go to the restaurant to spend more at the restaurant than what the entrance fee is just to hang out, or they just go to support. If you don't come back with something tangible or meet at least one prospect or client you could keep in touch with, then you've pretty much wasted your time, money, and energy. So the mindset has to change now. Why are you going to take, typically when we used to go to the market, that was the whole morning, because we would drive up, then we will hang out there, and then we will have lunch when the restaurant opens. So it will cost us, I don't know, anywhere maybe $40, $50 possibly, that once a month. When you think about how many times that happens per month, because we did it, Jim, how many times per month, that's why we can't move forward in when we're working. Now we have to be a little bit more smart about it, a little bit more smart about it. And that's what networking is. So through my eyes, I have changed the way that I look about networking. I typically will go to a networking event, and would it be, I've changed the events I've gone to, because now not all events are for you. You go and you see the same people over and over and over. It's like I am right now a healer, a Dow hands healer, and I'm in that space. But the community there are within that space. So in order for you to go and do business, you have to go outside the space. The same thing with media. You have to go outside the space. We have the radio shows. We're going to be doing a lot of shows as well. Visual. We have the audio. We have the visual. We have the book. We have the magazine. All those things we're going to be doing. But the point is, how you reach out to networking is all through all those mediums. So you have to see, this platform you're using, and there's tons of platform. But the only thing I ask, please, for the love of God, if you're going to do this, do it right. Don't just put something on there because, if you're going to say I tell people all the time, this is a podcast, but it's a show. It's a radio show. Podcast is a platform because it wasn't traditional radio, but you don't know, this might go into internet stream. We have internet streams where it's radio and it's also video, and we use that. So if you're going to do it, do it with the intention of you don't know where this is going to go. So be smart about what you're putting out there. In regards to, do I want to, the branding has to work. Your best has to work. And if I go to some of the other events that, my name is all over the place, all over globally. So I have to be selective of who, I go and the people that you meet now. Why? I'm not bringing anyone, but I would just go, and if there's appetizers, I would stand there and eat, and the people will come to you. It reached a where you attract the people you want, not just go. I know people who still up to this day go on scan the whole room. I don't do that. I have business cards as I throw out how many thousands of business cards. I don't know if these people are even around anymore, even the CRM list. So you have to start from scratch, especially in these times. So networking for me now is a bit different, but I want people, if they're going to take the time to go out and you've done this before, you had to be selective when you have to turn down. There were sometimes so many events in one day or 1 week. One of the time I remember many years, it happened over a period of years, that we were so obsessed with networking, we didn't even do business because we were so taken up with networking and meeting people and going out, investing, and there was no business. Absolutely none.
Hmm.
But yet we were promoting those who had, a course. We were bringing, and we've done that. I've taken people to high-end courses and they paid for it, and there was nothing. We were just promoting people. I've done that, taking our time. So I have changed that, and I
Yeah.
teach and say now, be smart about
Yeah.
everything that you do. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, I agree. It's so interesting you say that. I mean, I had to reshape my network even before we hit COVID. I had to be really careful. So again, the tip that we both agree on is be smart as to where you're going, what you're doing. So we're going to kind of segue into
But that's something else. Don't get
yes,
me wrong. I am not dismissing what we've done because that was
yeah,
part of growth. And
yeah,
I
I
want
get
to
it.
understand you have to go through the growth in order to understand this. So it took us many years for us to get to this point because we didn't have
Absolutely.
in our hands saying, you shouldn't be doing it. I mean, we heard it, but until we're in that position, there's a fine line. Okay, when you're going to consciously decide what do you really want, right?
Yeah,
So I'm not dismissing it. I embrace it, and I'm
absolutely.
really grateful for it,
Yeah.
for all the invitations, Jim.
Oh yes,
I was
yes.
invited to all these events. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there was. So we're gonna dovetail into some really cool stuff. So because of this networking, something really magical happened. So we're trying to figure out where this happened, how this happened. But in generally, uh, myself, I was in a mastermind group with a gentleman named Jean-Guy Francoeur in 2011. And Jean-Guy Francoeur's mentor was Gerry Robert. And Gerry Robert was this gentleman early on in 2011 who had written a book and had these courses going on, boot camps. And long story short, I went to a boot camp and I had written a couple articles. Before I was ever done the boot camp, I had found out, Jim, you're an author. I'm like, what? Yeah, I just written some articles. Fast forward, I got a cover. Well, they say everyone has a book in them. Well, Dianne had a book in her, and it was called Miss Fraud in You. And by the time it all was done, I had acknowledgement in the book here. It says to Jim, author of Get Connected, Make Wealth Happen, which is a previous business that I had, for always thanking me. I think you have me invited me all to the networking events. And yes, I invited a lot of people to networking events. Now, the book is called Miss Fraud in You. And, like I said, everyone has a book in them, and so does Dianne. But the power of why I want to talk about this is that, again, a lot of things, the people that you meet, you begin to align, especially when you meet other authors. When you meet other authors, the whole landscape changes, the whole credibility changes,
It
and
does.
very quickly. And it did for me. I got hired by a Fortune 500 company in 2012, and two reasons that I got hired, and I don't think I ever told people this, but I'm gonna tell you, tell Dianne, two reasons I got hired. One, I had a successful YouTube channel. Two, I had a list. I had a list of people. Three, I was a determined networker, and the fourth was that I was an authority. And because the business evolved, was an email marketing company at the time, but it allowed me to leverage my expertise with the business. So fast forward, I'm still involved 10 years later. But here's the thing. I have not just worked with Dianne. I've actually helped 6 other individuals give them the tools to write books. For me, it's been honorable. There's one lady here, her name is Rania Ifat. She has a blog she started 10 years ago, and she just told me literally a month ago that she's going to write a book, and she wants me to write the acknowledgement for the book. I nearly cried. All right. So why I'm telling you this is, well, you make an impact, right? You make an impact. And I'm telling you all this information because I'm going to throw it back to Dianne because, it wasn't just about the book. This is about the leveraging of the book. But now it had changed because now she was an authority in a particular topic. And one more story I'm going to share because I just remembered this story. I think you remember this story, Dianne. I think it'll come back to you. So
Okay.
about 5-6 years ago, I was cycling around my neighborhood.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember the story? It's coming back.
With the magazine.
The magazines. So I forgot these 2 magazines, and they were just magazines of celebrities. And I picked them up to read them. So I picked them up, put them in my bag, came back, And a couple of days later, I open up the magazines. And what were in the magazines? Personal income tax information of the people's household that I had just thing. And these people were mortgaged, a whole bunch of information. I took a picture. Yes. I sent Dianne. She was like, I don't remember if she was laughing, crying.
No,
I broke into the house, maybe. I don't know what. But do you remember that, Dianne?
Only person this would happen to.
Yeah, you know, thanks. I was like, she thinks about
this happened to.
Yeah, I thought she said maybe I broke it. I thought she said she's gonna report me. I broke into the house. I didn't. I thought so. This was information about how much they make. They were making, trust me, $150,000. It was like everything was in there. I told it. Now, why did I phone Dianne? Because she wrote a book on Miss Fraud and you, and how this information, if it falls
right away. You called.
I did, because I knew who to call. I knew who to call, not the Ghostbusters. I knew who to call. So why I'm telling this story is that because Dianne became the expert in this field. And on a serious note, you know, I destroyed the information. I ripped it up into 6 million pieces and I threw it out. But why this is because people don't watch their stuff. So I want to throw it back to you, Dianne, for a few minutes here, because we're going to stay on top here, is a little bit of 2 questions. A little bit about what inspired you to write the book. And secondly, what happened to you, you know, after you wrote the book, and how did your journey change and alter after you wrote the book? And then we're going to go into the third and final surprise.
Well, thank you for that. Well, first of all, thank you for that, the book. Prior to meeting Gerry, I still am in a company that actually provides services because I came from the banking industry, as you know.
Yes. So I didn't mention that. My apologies. I didn't mention that. My apologies.
So what happened is
that's a previous life.
It was connected because
yes, it was.
Because I was working in the financial industry. Part of my job was speaking to people who have, you know, calling for their bank accounts, their credit cards, and so forth. And I heard a lot of the stories, but I also had a service that I was using for myself and my family that I had provided. So when I met Gerry now, when I got an invitation from both you and Lawrence, he said, "Who would like to write a book?" And I was like, "Not me." Not me. Write a book, read, write. I'm not so sure about that. But then Jean-Guy, and I was sitting in the front, like, you know, they call it millionaire seat, and Lawrence was next to me, and I had a friend who went in a little bit in the back, and Jean-Guy stood up, and he had his book, and I reached up, and as well as Lawrence reached up, and my hand got it first. And I said, I read the book, and I said, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know on the spiritual side what we call our direct knowing channel. In those days, I didn't know what that meant. But it just said to me, you know, just go write a book. So I came home, spent about 3 months, sat down, and I wrote the book. And one of the things Gerry said is if you're going to write on something and you know that you're passionate about and you know well. And what I knew about was identity theft and fraud because of my background in the bank, right? So basically, that's what happened. It reached to a point now at that time, people did not talk about this. Because I got involved with a few people and, you know, we got to the fraud department, the Toronto police and the RCMP. And that time I got my shows and we had many of them come out. But the book became a business card. I must have given away more of these books than I've sold this book. It was a business card. I reached to a point in one group that I didn't tell people that I was an author because that's all they, like you said, all that they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone have a book in their mind. So we encouraged, but the book was written in 2011, but I didn't print it until 2012, but I promoted it for a whole year.
And let me tell you, the launch party was
few launch parties.
was great. The launch. I still remember everyone. I got to meet her son, the 2 daughters,
yes,
amazing husband, and actually shout out to your husband. Your husband even came out to one of my events.
That's
at
right.
the Wellesley Community Center. Shout out to Dianne's husband because he's a trooper as well. The whole family's a trooper, troop in itself. But that's who they are, the whole gang there. So, you know, and the thing is, yes, even my life too, you know, when I created the cover and started that, and now even with the podcasts, things have changed. And I'll give you a quick story. Yesterday, I do a comedy podcast with my friend, and really we're sitting down, Dianne. This is so hilarious. We didn't record this. We should have. We're sitting down minding our own business, just talking. There's 3 people on the other side just having a coffee. So there was about maybe 4 feet, 6 feet between us. You know what they said when they walked away from us? Oh, we hear you had a podcast. Can you tell us more about it? And Jim and I were like, wow, their ears are like Dumbo, man. They're like how big were their ears? We weren't talking loud, right? So we told them we had.
Jim, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So that's
No.
That's the thing. You talk comfortably, not to annoy people because you really don't know who is listening.
Who's listening? And they're like, we
really
told them about
intrigue what it is, because again, it comes back to visibility.
Yeah.
Like, how can you get in somebody's face? The key things, I have the radio shows. I have a couple of radio shows you're going to be doing, the CEO, the game changer, the experiential coach, and all these different shows, and the elephant in the room, which is one of my signature, what we're going to be doing soon, what I am doing. But the point is, people see you as an expert, but here's the thing. You got to be sexy. You got to be walking, talking, know what you're doing, present yourself, because nobody is not going to do it for you.
Right.
And there's a lot of platforms out there. So get out there, however, and a lot of people are very shy. You know what? We all have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there. Jim is probably the only one between both, and actually Jim is the only one between him, ourselves here, who have more any kind of experience with his acting and being in front of the camera. But there's times when Jim is still shy about doing certain things, because again, every time you're in front of the people, it's no matter if it's through a radio show or visual, there's a certain expectation. But here's the thing: have fun, look good, but have fun.
Yeah. So the third point is, and then we're going to talk. The third point was about marketing and promoting. So I just like to say again, a little bit of gratitude here. So one of the things that Dianne is she said earlier about events. So Dianne has been very supportive. She's come out to numerous of my events. I've run patio power events. I've done work with the Canada Job Expo. You came out to the Canada Job Expo a few times as my master of ceremonies. And I really do appreciate it. I'm great. Gratitude is something that I practice every day. So I'm grateful. Now, why I'm telling you this, because yes, people are busy. Dianne's busy. But the thing is, the reason people come out is because they know that I'm giving value, I'm connecting, and I'm growing something great. And one other thing is, Dianne, I started another show. Remember, I started the Block Talk Radio. I did about 30 interviews. Dianne came there. So I've interviewed Dianne before in other areas as well. But this is about community, and this is about building relationships, because you said something in the beginning about networking. It's about relationship, right?
What about the time you went with Donia?
Thatchannel.com. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the list is long.
All I actually have it here. It's actually on the wall there. I had a plaque because I didn't have
the book yet.
Of the cover.
So yes, we had adventures. We had
lots of fun. We had fun.
But here's the end. But this is the thing. We look back at all these experiences, and look, Dianne is here on my show, sharing insight, and that's why I'm grateful. I'm going to say it again. I'm grateful because, you know what you said. People move on, right? But here's one thing I talked about this earlier that I want you to talk about. So marketing is evolving, especially now. We're just at the end of a 16-month hiatus, from COVID, and people have pivoted, podcasts and all that. Oops. It's okay. It's okay. So all right.
That's all in the moment.
Okay, so you started a media company, doing a lot of different things. We're not going to talk about things, but what I wanted to ask you was, we've all evolved in media, podcasting media. What would you say if an entrepreneur came to you right now and said, okay, Dianne, what should I do as far as marketing media? How should I start? What would you tell them in a few minutes to at least put them in the right path? I'm not putting you on the spot here, but what would you say to them?
Here's the thing, what I've done now, that's a really good question. Let me tell you why. It's not one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody comes up to me and, we've had long night conversations, Jim, we all have conversations with many, many people. And you really have to know now at this point, 5 years ago, we would have a different conversation. Now the conversation we'd have is, okay, what do you want to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Some people do not like to be in front of the camera. Some of them don't like to be on the radio. If it's a book, it's not for everyone. So it depends on what they have. Most people don't even know what product or service they have. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do right now is, and just to switch other bit, I actually, I am a healer now, and for healing myself and getting myself grounded and working with that, and we work in that community. I've created I shouldn't say I've created a program because I've been doing this for like eons and lifetimes, but particularly until now I understand what it is I was doing in regards to, or put a name or brand to it. It's called the elephant in the room, which is extremely powerful, where I go to the root cause with anyone to see what is holding them back. Mm-hmm. So now everybody that goes through our business intensive course or medieval courses, they have to, I recommend that they do this only because we release. I have people who like 60 years, they're healers and so forth, because we worked within the healing group, and this is where we tested it and worked with them. They have all these modalities. However, the problem they had is like 30, 40, 50, 60 years. They didn't know what was holding them back. So I now, very simple. And of course, my background is NLP, but I'm also a Dow Hands practitioner where I actually can help people. Yes, we can, through not me directly, but I can explain that. So I look at it a different approach right now, because we are now the experiential transformational type of coach, whereby everybody's a coach, and I'm not really a fan of the word coach. However, some people take it lightly and some people take it seriously, because everybody wants to be a coach. Like everybody's a mortgage broker and everybody's a real estate agent. So when it comes to me now, they have a lot more work or more questions to answer, and let's find what's best. So they have to transform first. They have to make sure that in the right place at the right time, right tools. However, they have to have the right mindset, and they have to be ready to work. But what is the investment? It can be, there's certain things you can do. I had a session today with someone that she wants to do a vlog, a YouTube channel. It's just a smart girl, but her parents are pressuring her to get married because she just moved here. And I'm like, okay, what's holding you back? Because they tell her the same thing. So you have to know what your priorities are and why you're doing this. Know that many people you know right now who have books, have TV shows, have TV commercials or radio shows, podcasts, and so forth that do blog talk. I've told them many years ago that I would just go up to them and say, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. And they thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
A lot of them I'll have in that position. Why that is? Because a lot of people are willing to pay a lot of money to get involved in these, training. However, it doesn't have to cost that much. You and I both know that. It don't have to cost you, because we know some of the programs were pretty nice price, right?
Yeah.
So again, in answer to your question, it all depends on the person, what they want, what they're looking for, how dedicated they are. And I always say this publicly, and some people may or may not like it, but there's sometimes you can read a book and you can tell if it's ghost written, because you have a little person, and it can throw people off because it's energy, because I'm all for energy. And you do this and you do also editing and so forth. But you have to know why you're doing it. It's the why. It's the why, it's the what, and the how you're going to be doing it, and everything. There's the 5 W's, 5 W's, sorry, as far as know that. Just don't do it because somebody else is doing it.
No, that's great. So with the last few minutes, I'm going to make a couple of things. So what I'd like to do is Dianne's going to be coming back. She's going to be joining me as my special co-host for 2021. And the reason I decided to do this was this show is about the pro and the go. But I got so many pros. But I have, again, so many great guests, and I figured the insights that Dianne brings is parallel to what I have, but also a different modality that she was talking about. And I think that's important when you're interviewing someone, is that connecting. And Dianne knows me really well, and I really believe, and I really trust her in the sense of that I'm bringing someone, not just a professional, but I'm bringing someone who's a media titan like I am, who understands that, someone she's never met, that I can give them information on them, and she's going to study them, do that. I don't have to remind her, because that's what's it's gonna take, right? And I told her this when we first spoke. So the last thing of the thing, because we're just almost running out of time here, is I have one final thing. Look, 50 seconds left. Is I started this new thing. I asked our guests to give a quick tip. The tip could be about anything: networking, marketing, media. So it's like a little verbal verbal quote. So I read these quotes that people write in books and all that, which I love, by the way. But it's something that it's a little 30-second snippet. So Dianne, what is your quote? I throw it to you.
I would say one of the things that one day I asked a friend to just send me something, and he sent me the quote. It's a very famous quote. I've heard so many versions of it. It's really "Be the change you seek" by Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. Mm-hmm. If you want to, this is me. If you see something that's a pet peeve, where there's a void, you don't even realize it, go do something about it. Make a change. We do the International Men's Day and all the founders, so forth, because the men, love you men, but you didn't have a voice. So, you guys are like the underdogs. Do something about it. Mm-hmm. Don't complain about it. Pick up yourself and do something. Be the change. Just don't surround there, talk about it. Be the change you seek.
All right. And I'm going to throw one in there. So one of my mentors said something to me. I never figured it out for a number of years. And it goes something like this. It's a powerful networking tip. It says, walk in a person's shoes, but don't live there.
That's right.
Say it again. Walk in a person's shoes, but don't live there. So you want to be in a person's shoes and understand them. But you don't want to live there, but you want to understand them. So with that, I'd like to say...
add one more thing. I want to add one before we go.
Okay.
When you see someone who don't judge anyone because you don't know how they got there, just congratulate them and give them gratitude, because sometimes that's all they need, and that's what you need. You don't have to know the story. Just say, you know what? Don't complain about anything. Just say all, because you really don't.
Exactly. So,
first of all, so much.
Well, first of all, I guess, thank you, Dianne. We're going to have Dianne's bio, and we're going to have her details at the end of this interview where you can reach out.
It's always changing.
Well, we're going to find the right details.
I'm going to
because the reason is, at the end of the day, Dianne has a number of really cool initiatives. And I think that's important, that to continue the conversation is that. So we'll have a link. Do you want to share the link? Do you want to verbally tell a link now, Dianne, so they can hear it?
Well, we're working on rebranding as well, but you can always go to think10.ca, but we will be coming up with the experientialcoach.com.ca as well. That's coming very soon.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're always evolving. So this is another episode of The Pro on the Go with Jim Pagiamtzis. Thank you, everybody, and look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care, Dianne. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.